water meter, so she called him with his contact information.
Well, there you go.
He can't be here tonight. This would be his first official meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, he wrote a note to us there, responding to your, maybe Linda's email.
Get it right. All right. 4:30 on March the 20th for the monthly Calvert City Water and Sewer Board meeting of the board. We have few people out tonight, but we do have a quorum of members. So we will continue with the meeting, and the first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the February 20th regular meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Minutes be approved. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by like sign. Therefore, the minutes are approved of the meeting. Looking at the financial statements for the month. Start out with the water budget tracking that you have there in front of you. We're going to do a little bit of looking into this. Linda and I talked about it earlier, and but the revenue at $1,168,800 is below what we budgeted of $1,266,000. That's averaging about $146,000 per month for the year to date, as compared to a budget number of $158.3. So we're running about $13,000 a month shortfall in revenue, and so we're going to do a little analysis work on that. Concerned, was thinking, Bobby, maybe one of the plant meters sometimes gets messed up, or something gets messed up. So we're going to do a little,
possibly.
Little research to see what that shortfall is. So we'll look into that, but I just wanted to point that out that we are running.
Westlake's got a major issue. We're switching out one of their big ones. But other than that, I don't know.
Well, we just kind of, I looked at that.
Other than that, I mean, it's total revenue after all the other incidentals, interest earned, hydrant fees and so forth is $1,317,000 against a budget of $1,322,000. So
Yeah, you got big grant revenue.
but we got a grant number in there too, 60,000.
Pretty
So
far behind.
So-
Well, I mean, yeah, and what's our history? We really don't see big drops like that, have we, in a while?
not in a while, no. So that's the reason why Glenda's going to do some digging into the numbers and see if she can spot anything that it's not working just right sometimes. And see
We
if
have an
it's
inflation index.
It went into play. No.
Negative? No, this is just a hypothetical. If 1 year.
No, it doesn't have anything to do with these numbers.
No, I
It's
know.
based on the cost of living adjustment. So,
Yep.
yeah. Expense wise, things are doing pretty well in the expenses. Everything is tracking. Maintenance repairs to the system is running a little bit higher than what we budgeted at 201 versus about 176. But short of that, when you go to the bottom line, we're at $1,020,000 and against the budget of $1,178,000. So our expenses are favorable on an average of 58,000. So we're making up our shortfall in revenue, but we still need to know what's impacting that revenue number. So we'll do some work on that this month and see what we can find out. Jumping over to the sewer budget, things are looking good there. The revenue is holding compared to what we budgeted. We're at 535 actual against a budget of 500,000. So that's good. We've got some, of course, maintenance to the system is also a little higher than what we had budgeted, but that's can happen pretty quickly with a pump station going out or having to replace some pumps or things like that. We've let's see. Oh, the interest expense, Glenn, I noticed it's better. That may not have the loan for the new sewer plan or anything in that number, being at 17,000 versus 31, and we probably budgeted to be paying on that loan, probably is what we did, didn't we? Yeah, so, okay. Yeah. So we're running, our costs being down, we're running favorable there from a revenue standpoint against what we budgeted in sewer. So we're doing all right there.
Notice our balance here from the trial balance year to years. Definitely down. Is that timing of something? I'm talking about a number right up here.
From January down 505,517 dollars.
Cash flow, everything.
We had to pay for the influent lift station.
But do we have money left in that grant for that?
There's a loan.
The loan, yeah.
Yes, and so Chad, we have asked for the rest of that,
Okay,
and we just got it yesterday. Now,
okay,
they did withhold 25,000 because they said until the project was finished, they would not send that to us as a retainage.
okay, is that all that's left in that?
That's all, yes, we
Yeah,
maxed out,
okay.
we finished that loan out.
Well,
Yeah.
that
Right.
explains.
But we had to, you know, the
Well,
cash,
we knew that. You told us that last.
cash
meeting.
flow was not,
Cash flow.
yeah. Yeah, because we paid out this last month, 497,000 and we just can't cash flow stuff. with it.
And we still got some completion on that facility. Still got to be tied in. So,
Yes. No small chore right on it.
right. Yeah. So all you got to do is go over and throw the switch and
Yeah, that's it.
it'll just flow right through.
That's it.
Yeah. But so everything is looking good there right now. So, all right, looking at an update on the water sewer projects. Chad sent us a sheet updating where we are there. On the Lone Valley Road project, we're waiting right now, we're waiting for the pipe to be delivered, I think, or maybe it's already been delivered.
Not just pipe, I think there's some other like fittings and stuff.
Fittings and some things like that, and then they'll start as soon as the weather is worthwhile. They're waiting on Youngblood's excavation, who won the bid, to when they can start the work. So that'll be happening, action out there pretty good. So I think all the other issues have been resolved or are about to be resolved, at least on that. Cypress Lakes meter vault, Bobby's got all the parts ordered now.
All we like is, all I gotta do is order a vault for it, and mayor's supposed to find out if we can just, as soon as we can start.
Soon as we can start. Yeah, so we still got to deal with some landowners out there on that. So, okay. The influent lift station, work is progressing very steadily on that. Think, there's, should be finished up early, mid-April, I believe is.
Yes,
my
it's what
understanding,
it's
yeah.
looking like, but yeah,
Yeah.
because they got electricians are gonna start putting up panels and stuff next week. That's what they said, start running conduit and stuff, and the trusses and stuff, the poles are already up for the building. They gotta put the top on it. It's starting to come together. It will be first of April.
So that'll be good there. The lagoon halos, on those two, what do we stand on that?
We're sending off for samples to make sure we can get rid of the sludge, where we can get rid of it. And as soon as we get that back, we'll start dewatering and getting somebody so we can get that stuff out. And then I'm thinking, from what Chad told me, it would be late spring, early summer before they actually mobilize and start it up.
That'd probably be good, get rid of this rain and
Yeah.
everything out of there.
So yeah, once we
Yeah.
get through the wet spot.
Yeah. Because you're gonna have to inject the sludge with lime and
Dry it out.
bring it out with a long reach.
We're still doing 2 lagoons there, right? So that's got a estimated life of
30 years.
30
Yeah.
years.
They say, yeah.
Yeah. Water plant high service pump replacement. Are we good with that now? Pretty much.
Well, on that one, the main part's done, but now we're having to, I think he noted on here for you, but we still got to put like we got to install 3 12-inch valves. We got to have a couple flow meters installed. We got another chlorine online meter. We got some more things we have to install, but we should be able to use the rest of the grant money to take care of it. So
That's good.
awesome.
Okay. The area up around I-24, all the activity up there, that's still with engineers and all of that sort of thing, and the same with the LWD cutoff road main replacement. That's still working on the results of the samples and trying to determine what's best to be done there. So those are all still being handled mainly by engineering and that type of thing. So I think most of those we're coming along, which is all improvements to the city, plus water and sewer systems up there. And we'll be able to have some assurance there. All right, I wanted to go a little bit further this week and this month, and to set up a section on the agenda, sort of like looking ahead. And part of our responsibility as a board is being an advisory board as to what we need to be doing and where we need to be going. And so I had talked to Gene about this on another occasion, and we talked about it a little bit at the last meeting. The water plant, we at one point went out and bid a new water plant, and that cost was pretty high. And so I think what we may need to do, and I really think in talking to some people, is that the existing water plant with the upgrades that we're making is going to be in pretty good shape. And building a new structure. Not saying we shouldn't, but it's gonna be costly and questionable. So we may want to dig into that a little bit more. And I don't know if there's need to get a engineering firm like a Chad or somebody to go through it, but we've replaced the high pressure pumps in there. You're working on the controls,
Mhm.
and we've got new controls, and we've got in the filter plant, we're going to replace all the new filters in there, replace the valves that are in there.
Mhm.
And when we get all of that done, it's my understanding that we'll be in
We'll be in pretty good shape.
pretty good shape. The only thing that we really need to do at that site is, and I don't know where the status of that is to build a flood wall.
Yeah, I think.
Do
John
you-
sent me a thing. Let's see. I can find it. You know, because we did apply for money to get for that berm. He said our first application to the Delta Regional Authority, it was not funded. So we're reapplying for this calendar year's round of funding, which is just recently opened. So they're going to send us we've requested our score sheet so we can see, you know, maybe where we need to change something. And then our grant request, he said, is for $1,116,818, $116,818 to do. So we'll just have to see how that goes.
1 million, how much?
Reapplies. $1,116,818.
That was kind of from a quote or estimate, wasn't it? That number
It was.
right?
Uh-huh.
When was that done?
We,
I
dealing
believe
with our-
Bacon Farmer Workman at BFW did that.
Are we dealing with the county judge or anything on that?
Is
Are
what?
we dealing with the county judge or anything on that?
I don't know.
That's all governed.
The Delta Regional
The
Authority,
Delta
so.
Regional is kind of governed also through the PAD office, and there's some connections, so that's a very political support does not hurt.
Mhm.
And that's a very well-funded agency. So that we might want to try to call our local congressman, explain that to them. They'll probably want you to make a presentation, but you can make that presentation, take them down to the local staff, give them a site visit,
Mhm.
and see if you can get something on board with that. Those river counties are extremely difficult to overcome. They've got a lot of need, and we understand that, but that Delta region, Marshall County sits in it, but probably take more than just a proposal. There's probably a whole other side of those discussions that we might want to see what we can do with.
How long ago was it that we were denied?
Just recently, I mean, I don't know, I say
He
recently.
didn't say, and that's kind of all I know. John's been taking care of this.
I think we were a little bit late putting it in, and because I know that Tim and I had talked about it, and we had some plans on how that could be, not really plans, but discussion plans of how it could be done. We just need a berm that goes down along the creek, then comes around, and then the gate or whatever, so that we can get in and out during flood stage when that creek floods and backs up.
But that also assists in a way of a more expedited control of any backup flooding, as well as protect that plant.
back.
Sure, I don't sure I
If-
understand what
If
your
what we're
question is.
doing, if we build a berm and try to channel that water, if that aids in trying to eliminate any backup flooding, particularly in our lagoon situation, because that creek, then that's the same creek kind of flows through
Yeah,
there.
it does, but
So if that mitigates that at all, that needs to be in that proposal. Because, if it brings it to a little bit different level, but Comer's office, I mean, I'm telling you, if you don't contact some of these offices, you're not gonna get that money. I speak from having generated 47 million. But you've got to build that support.
Get in there,
And
get them thinking about it, make sure they're familiar with it.
that's right. And they may, if they can't help you, they can't help you. But if you get them focused on it and you can't get that, then maybe something else comes up. So it's not time wasted to build those relationships at all.
Yeah, I don't know. John has been handling it. And so I am not in tune with exactly what
I
he
haven't either.
has done or whatnot.
Well, that's a recommendation.
But I will
That's a
relay this.
recommendation for this committee then, because we we need that berm.
I mean, the last two times it's flooded, we put rock
Right.
along there and it took care of it and kept the water out of there. But this would be more of a permanent thing and then have a gate
Right.
so that we could get in and
That-
out of there.
That
And
funding
would
came out of a
protect
different
everything.
pocket. So that funding was from FEMA. Was that a FEMA funded thing? The rock
Reimbursable, I think.
reimbursed or
Mhm.
something on it. So, one pocket don't talk to the other one.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
just-
We had my understanding was when they put the rock in where they did it, then they had to turn around and take it back out
Right.
and use it somewhere
Right.
else. So
Yeah,
it
and then you
couldn't be
can't
left there.
just use it anywhere
Right.
because it's been contaminated.
Right.
But
But
that's just my
So-
2 cents worth.
So it sounds like we can kind of fund some of these things as we go. To do just an update of this thing. And then we've got for the flood wall, you're talking at least $1 million. I'd say that's probably gonna be closer to 2 million by the time we another grant for it, the way everything's going up. Now, I just want to throw out there that our other plant, we had engineers look at it in terms of building a new plant in a new location. Numbers I remember were like 12 million. And then if you wanted to soften the water, 17 million.
Mhm.
And so when you think about grants, that's nice,
Right.
but we're not gonna get any
Mhm.
grants that size. And so then it comes back to customers and, raising to pay it off a loan, we'd have to raise everybody's bill to, we talked about some possibilities and we had a gentleman come in and say, here's how you would raise this much money.
right.
And we really didn't enjoy thinking about all that in terms of what we might have to raise the prices to.
So, I
So,
mean,
for me, Bobby, would this work for you in terms of these things we're doing? Is this a functional plant that's going to work for 5 or 10 more years before we
Oh,
really,
yeah, with
I'd
the
say-
upgrades
Yeah.
and stuff that we're doing, yeah.
or longer?
Yeah.
But this plan that we had, I think, Bill, we can dust that off. I don't think we got to start from scratch, right? We had the first plan.
For which thing?
I mean-
The loan for the,
No, the first
Wall.
engineering plan of the plant.
Yeah.
All of that, some of that's got to be where we can still use some of it, I think.
I mean, I'm not sure we need to, is my point on that.
Okay,
My point is.
that we can do this.
I mean, something we can discuss further and talk about, but I mean, just the initial phase of the people that I've talked to, and frankly, I talked to Tim, so
Yeah.
I mean, he was saying, and basically Bobby affirmed it here, that, we get those new filters in the filter house,
So
and we get the
we won't have to worry
the
about.
valves, and then that will, we can continue to operate where we are. But we've got to protect it from the floodwaters coming in.
Mhm.
Is the main thing that we would have to do.
Okay.
And even if we tried to relocate another plant somewhere else, there's gonna be considerable funds relative to the system, how you tie it in and
Right.
where it flows and
Yeah, 'cause
And
you
all
don't
that.
affect that anyway over there. 'Cause
Right.
You get all them connections with everything.
Especially
anyway.
for plants, yeah.
so we gotta keep that
Yeah, I agree. I
where we
agree.
are anyway, so.
You're saying we build a new plant, we're still gonna have this facility.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be up and running
Okay,
too.
I guess I misunderstood about a plant, so. okay.
Yeah, no, you got the clear wells and you got all those
The ground storage.
Yeah.
tank.
ground storage
absolutely.
tanks and it would all.
We get all them connections. Whatever which way.
So, but that's something that we can still look.
So you'd have
Yeah.
to maintain this new plant as well as keep maintaining that particular facility.
Yeah, I mean, to an extent, yes.
Yeah. Maybe not to the same extent.
Right, exactly, because you probably just be running water through it instead
Yeah.
of making water.
All right.
Because
Okay.
let me make sure I understand that. If we continue this plan of hardening the current plant, then probably that need for a new plant is not as great. And so it may come along, but we're not gonna be
Yeah,
pushed.
that's why I'm saying, we just talk.
Okay,
yeah.
I just want to make sure I understand this correctly. I agree.
Yeah.
You know, for me, as a citizen, love to move it away from the chemical plants, the making water. But I can't justify that at this price.
Yeah,
Love,
Yeah, it'd be
Love
great
to-
if it was out that way towards the well fields.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
It'd be awesome.
And it would be great to soften water. You know, we kind of debated that. Maybe the plants would be interested in it more, but there's no guarantees.
Right.
You know, citizens would probably like it because they have to call a plumber less for the calcium buildup, you know. and stuff
Then you
like
got
that.
the waste to deal with the salt, the brine.
Yeah,
And you
the
got
maintenance
that,
of it
right.
is gonna be more.
Yeah.
So the bill is gonna be more,
Yeah.
even if, you know, we could get somebody to wave a wand and put it in there. We still probably would have to raise rates in some
I
sense.
think to shave the operating cost, just the operational cost would increase 600,000 a year to soften the water. So, I mean.
You know,
it's
that's
kinda-
big in our
it's a
budget.
big,
That's-
it's
that's
a-
huge.
Just a no starter, you know.
So,
I even talked to somebody at North Marshall and said, if we blend that water from North Marshall, will that help? Well, North Marshall's got hard water too.
Yeah, they do.
So, I mean, that we're on a limestone
Yeah.
deposit, you're gonna have
You're
that
gonna get
hard
that.
water, and I don't know, anything that you can do about
not
it,
cheap,
with that's reasonable.
right? There's nothing cheap you can do about
No.
it. So, I mean, there's some reasons to think about a new plant, but
So if we got that brine, I don't even know if Dan could take care of it. I don't know what you would do with the waste brine, the brine. I don't even know if you could take that brine or not.
I don't know either, Steve. I
Yeah.
don't have the answer. to
Yeah,
that.
so those are-
It's a
but
big issue.
It's not, new plant sounds good. I always love new things, but there's a lot of details in this that make it.
Make it, I mean, it's something to continue looking at it
Yeah,
down the road or seeing what we can do.
And can I ask why there is the discussion of a new plant? Is it just the need, or is there a specific reason, or is it just because it's been there a long time? I'm sorry, I'm ignorant of this.
yeah.
Lynn,
have to get into history.
Lynn had a
Lynn Jones.
dream of a new plant with water softening for the people of Calvert, and with the anticipation that he could sell water to the plants because they soften their water. But what we've learned through people that work out there is whatever we softened it to in our plant, they would still be softening even more for what they need out there. And also they're hesitant to partnership with a utility, a city utility, a government utility. So it kind of got, Roger was working with them and working with us and all, and
Discussing their concerns. You think about it for them, you know, if they start buying it from us and they're doing it themselves right now, they're relinquishing one step in their process. And they like to control their process as much as they can. And they've already spent the money to soften it to the level they have, then there's not as much need. So we would probably be thinking more about growth almost with any other new plants coming in. And, you know, we haven't really had a growth spurt, have we, in the last 20 years? So there's just, would that draw in a growth spurt? You know, it's just speculation. So you hope it would, but we don't have any evidence.
No, I mean, when I built my house, I put a water softener in, knowing what we were having there, and it's fairly inexpensive. I mean, I use a bag of salt a month, $6 a bag. Well, we can't soften it and charge less than that. So I mean,
It's also on the floodplain. So that was part of what's the location and which reason why we're trying to do the farm.
all right, we'll continue some more discussions and whatnot on that and see. The other thing that we have talked about, Gene and I have talked about, and I think it's something that we need to look into, and is some type of software and tracking system that retains records as to what has been done, who done it, when it was done, when it needs to be followed up on.
Are you talking more from
I'm
talking more from like the,
talking water and sewer
I mean, more from like the
or anybody that can look at
Anybody
it
that needs to track them.
within the city. I mean,
Yeah,
can look
collection
at it and-
system, distribution system,
Right,
anything that needs to be done.
mentioned it to Carrie this afternoon, and the new system they're installing in the city for tracking billing and all of that sort of stuff. There is a possibility that there might be something there that could be looked into and worked on. I'm sure there's other systems out there. One of the things that brought it to our attention is the backup on Evergreen. The two valves, backflush valves, were scheduled to be maintained each certain period of time. Well, we had Roger, we had Silas, we had Tim, we got Bobby. They didn't get maintained. I don't know that necessarily caused the problem, but still, it makes the city look bad in that we had said way back that we would maintain those valves, and the people still had a backup. So anything like that could be put on a schedule or reminder system in a software, and with software out there now for all that kind of stuff, we're in that type of world. We're not in a paper world anymore, unfortunately, even in my business. I mean, it used to be. So that's another thing that we need to be on our schedule to be looking ahead and seeing.
Jim did say we used to have one, but it like got rid of in like 2020 or something like that.
Yeah, it was my understanding, Bobby, that's correct.
Yeah.
Roger didn't install one, but it became very cumbersome, very how to handle it. You had to come here, get the work order, take the work order to the field with you, do the work, say what you did on the work, bring the work order back. The work order had to be inputted and so forth. And
Sounds like we're talking about build a dashboard kind of project. Where we can, on the preventative maintenance and stuff, where if it falls out, it flat, it goes from, it shows up as a yellow caution to pull you in. So the dashboard may be
Is there software?
it's just a tracking. It doesn't require
Right.
work orders and all that stuff. It's just, but it does, any
Somebody
system
inputting
has
these
got to
things
have
need to be done
input.
every 3 months, every
Right.
2
Yes.
years,
Right.
every 5 years.
Right.
Like some of our contracts that we let
Yeah.
lapse.
So, yeah, like
Like,
contracts.
the flags, they're like,
When we
you
had
know,
that
this
at the
needs to be done
college,
Right.
that guided us
Yeah.
at the college, you know, so if you
You
had
had some software for doing that?
a dashboard, yeah.
Okay.
We all had that, well, at least at the leadership level, we had a dashboard. So
Okay.
if there were 70 projects out there in that year of planning, then you could check on that dashboard if somebody would be responsible for the input, because not everything like didn't fall in my area. So if it wasn't my area, I never inputted anything, but if it was my area, I would input it and other VPs could pull it up and track my progress on the assignments I had for that year.
Okay.
So that, now
I
I'm
think our
not
new
technically
software's
sharp
gonna
enough to,
do- I have high hopes, but I think we're gonna be able to do things like,
okay.
I sure hope.
So it would never direct any kind of ticket, but it would let everyone that was
Right.
tied into it know that, hey, we got something out here that's getting in the yellow. We got this, it's due within 3 weeks or something like that. And it would show.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm
Someone
looking
there
at a
would-
system right now that if I have a tablet in the truck with the driver and he comes to Steve's house, Steve's trash is not out. He marks it trash not out. Back at the office, the lady on the phone knows his trash wasn't out. He goes on down, they call and say, "You missed me."
My trash
She
was
said,
out.
"Well, my driver says here,
Yeah,
trash
There's
was
no-
not out." And
Exactly.
he went by at
You missed us.
5:35 this morning.
Yeah.
you know.
We have that.
Yes.
So, I
Steve's
mean,
in a good position. I say,
so
yeah, but
that's
he's
kind of
coming back
things
at noon.
You get like 4 passes.
I get 4 passes.
But there's a lot of things, I mean,
Yeah.
reporting and everything that Bobby's got to do to stay in compliance and all
Mhm.
that. And as we, just like I say, we came through 4 superintendents pretty
Yeah.
quickly here,
Yeah.
things get lost.
Yeah,
And so,
People tell people.
that dashboard would record all that, because
Yeah.
it would be in that system for you to go back and review what the input had been.
Yeah, that would be nice.
So even your own staff,
Can see.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, it doesn't require you sitting there for hours. It
Right.
just requires you note and that you.
and there's
taking care of
samples that
their
have to be
progress.
taken every quarter and all
exactly.
that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. I mean,
Mhm.
so,
No, that would be awesome.
so I think that's something we need to
When do you expect
Pursue.
your software to be in place here?
Not till
carry didn't
This-
know.
the
when
winter.
or
this
when.
year,
End of this year?
you know, that's what they've told us.
Yeah.
I mean, we have monthly meetings with them.
And who is that contract with again? Who is it? Out
Edmonds,
in Pennsylvania or something?
Edmonds,
And
that's the new one.
Edmonds,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know I had to send them a bunch of information, fill out a bunch of things for, the credit card payments. and
But Carrie seemed
Getting all that ready.
optimistic that that might be an option.
Yeah.
May
She was
not
telling
be
me
the
about
best
that, too.
option, but I mean, it's,
Cause all that stuff can go to our tablets and our work phones. and stuff like
Right,
that.
this system is supposed to.
It'll be nice.
and according to her is if there's time to cut off meters because of no pay. Well, while they're out cutting off meters, if somebody comes in to pay, it would ding the meter.
Mhm.
I mean, your computer and
Yeah.
say,
And it'll pop up on your
so-and-so's
end and you'll
paid.
know, oh, they've paid, I don't need to turn this one,
Or need to go back and turn
or turn it back
before
on.
you leave or whatever, so,
It all sounds great.
but that's,
It can happen. too.
Sounds good,
Yeah.
I like that, Bobby.
But Bobby, we appreciate what y'all do. I mean, it's
Once
not
set
an
to
easy
you, always
project.
make it simple.
Oh, yeah, it can get
A lot-
overwhelming
lot
too.
on
Yeah.
plate.
Yeah, I can imagine.
it's quite a bit of work in the next item that we would need to do, but I think long-term, we need to look at additional sewer needs within the city. Because there's a lot of people still in the city limits who does not have sewer. And it's mainly because they're not on the gravity sewer that was installed. They would have to have some other type of sewage pumping or whatever, or accumulating or whatever. So I think that's something that I'd like to have on the radar of plans for looking at and seeing what kind of development we can do, because we really need to get rid of these septic tanks and everything that's all around everywhere and provide needs to upgrade the city to what it needs to be. I have no
Is there an
idea.
area where that is more prevalent?
Well, the one I'm thinking of right now is out where Ralph Howard lives, and I'm
Yeah,
not sure
with
where that is.
Colorado
10th
and stuff
Street,
like 15.
Colorado.
Yeah.
Out in that area.
Yes.
Riley Circle.
Is that right? Most of them don't have sewer.
Right.
Okay.
So that's a future thing as well that we need to be doing some preliminary planning on and studying on and working forward. And then the fourth item I had on there was just continued growth of the system and meeting customer needs. And I know that's kind of an open-ended statement that we have, but plants may need more water in the future. We've looked at some of those already, and have worked with them and could work with them, meet that need, to provide more water. The other one that I talked to a little bit about is I think that we need to put on the list too, is a backup system for source of water. This PFAS thing that's going around is could be pretty damaging. We need to have a backup plan.
PFAS, is that tied to the plastics stuff?
It's the
Tied to
big
everything.
it's a big chemical thing
Yes.
going around all over everywhere
Yes.
that is contamination in the water. And if you get it in drinking water, then it's very difficult to clean up and clean out and so forth. And there has been a hit in the area.
And is
Not in the city or anything, and that has been taken care of. But I mean, it could be that we might have to shut down one or more of our wells, which would reduce our input of water if it became a problem. And it's not, and I don't want the newspaper putting it out that we think it is,
Right.
because
No,
it's
it's
not.
not.
It just, or there could be other things that we have out there that could cause a problem.
well, one
You know,
thing,
if we had a lightning strike, I don't know what would happen if we had a tornado come through that well field. I mean, with their pumps and everything up on top, I don't know. I mean, you know. So we had another source. And it's been suggested that maybe over around the drive-in theater, there's a lot of good water over in that area. But we would have to have land, but we do have a 8-inch main that runs out to the drive-in that theoretically we could potentially tie another well source in that, as long as it was finished water,
Mhm.
and run it back this direction, feed into our current system.
2 things. Where are we with North Marshall about coming up with, remember, it kind of has fallen apart, our contract in terms of North Marshall helping us helping North, and Roger was gonna try to address it.
That's between her boss or her partner or whatever they are.
And the lawyers for them. Okay. And so,
You know
don't
what?
have any updates on that.
And some of the,
You know what I'm talking about? Sharing
Yeah.
water.
Yes.
For kind of what we're talking about emergencies.
Greg is concerned, Greg has a concern that if we do any connection with North Marshall Water, that it would put us under the public service, is that what it is, Brenda?
Service Commission.
Public services.
Which is a federal commission, PSC.
Yeah, you can't do anything unless you ask them. You can't raise the price unless you ask them.
So it puts us under potentially that umbrella
Okay.
if we start sharing water with them. Can we avoid that? We want to share water with you, but we don't want to have another layer of bureaucracy,
Okay.
telling us what
Well,
to do.
Roger, he kind of,
Roger doesn't.
he
think
never
it's-
agreed that that would be an issue, that would control the rate. But we're talking about mostly an emergency situation. I don't know that you'd even need an agreement if the mayor declared an emergency.
Yeah. Well,
So,
then I think we just need that in writing, or where is it documented that it says that?
yeah,
that
I
you
agree.
can waive those,
I agree.
their guidelines.
They
for
just never
emergency
went
situations.
anywhere. But
Right.
we do have that, well, how big is their feed out there?
At North Marshall,
Yeah, for North Marshall.
that's,
It's still, we're still.
How big a
yeah,
line
we're
is that?
connected right there at the sign. It's a- I wouldn't say an 8 or 10.
It's an 8 or 10 inch line, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's,
That
we
would
had,
be another thing long term as another alternate source if we, for whatever reason, we've had.
but we want that relationship
Mary-
clarified, that's for sure.
Marion's pond went dry and.
Yeah.
Kind of made us all think when Marion went dry and they were begging everybody for water around them, that
Yeah.
we need to, how's our contracts looks, and what we found was that we hadn't looked at it in a while.
if we
Probably
have enough
expired.
study to know where we could do that, it'd be a good thing for the city to think about moving forward to purchase, at least purchase property.
For the
I
purpose
fully
of?
agree. You shouldn't have all your eggs in one basket out there.
Right. So, this is.
One thing I wanted to throw out at you, just kind of what you're talking about, and I like it, just this whole idea of looking at some of these worst case scenarios. In the 90s, the chemical plants were required by the federal government to look at your worst case scenarios. Everything you have fails and your backup fails. What's going to happen? And so, they were scared to death. I was on the CAT committee. They ran it by us first, thinking when we go public with this and we're going to have a public event, press is just going to, say, oh, all the fire and brimstone that's going to happen when all these bad things happen. Didn't happen that way. They printed it pretty much what they said and what happened. But what happened out of that was it really made the infrastructure in chemical plants, they really looked hard at it, and they looked at what things would go wrong. And if everything failed, like this would happen. So it made them throw in some more backup. This might run down this creek, this product that nobody wants running down this creek, So how could we, what could we put in place to make sure that that's addressed? Or like you're saying, what is our alternate resources? What are we going to do with a tornado? Or, what if we have some long-term damage? What can we do temporarily? If we had this went down, this sewer part or this water part went down, how could we address it? So, it's definitely an exercise that will take some time and might affect our budgets to the point where we really need to set this in place, set this, some infrastructure or possibly at least some policies, at least maybe some training for staff to say, here's if these things happen, here's how we're handling it, and I assume you do that already in some things that are more common.
It's funny too, because I just got back from a class a couple weeks
Okay.
ago, when we kind of went over that kind of stuff, that emergency, whatever. So they're really hitting that stuff hard right now too.
Well, think
Obviously,
about the
because of all
weather.
the stuff we had.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're having 100-year events every
Mhm.
5-10 years now. And so
But I thought that was pretty interesting and stuff that they covered all that. So
it's good.
yeah.
It is. I think because it's more likely to happen than ever,
Mhm.
unfortunately.
Exactly.
I mean, we've got a good source of water out there. We got good water out there and everything, but
And you have 4
It's
tornadoes
all
right
right.
through that
Yeah.
area, take out every well out.
that's
there.
all we got.
Mhm.
Yeah. And,
Can we not get it from here?
Oh, we
Yeah,
can,
we got
yeah,
it.
we're tied in.
That's what I thought.
yeah, I mean, we've
I
got,
mean, that's another option.
we got
Yes.
Paducah out here, we got North Marshall over here that we can get water from, but how much can we get from them? And how much-
Right, and the exercise might be to say, well, what if they're down? And then what if North's down? What, do we have any
We all,
alternatives? Well, boil water.
Yeah.
Let's all
yeah,
swim,
boil water.
except electricity's out.
I got a swimming.
Build
Yeah, I
a
know.
fire.
The fire, there, all the trees are gone.
So.
Bullets become money.
I know, and we're dead.
Wow.
I'm trying to give y'all some nightmares tonight.
I think this is called Armageddon.
I'm not trying to be a downer here, but I mean, it just
Oh, the apocalypse.
been thinking about it.
Just went, phew. Yeah.
So.
As we
That's
bring up
fine.
these things, a couple of questions. Have we made any progress on reviewing our policy procedure
Yes, I put
ordinance?
Bruce on that and he went through and found every one of them and I have a binder and he has it all on the computer.
Great. All right, then the
Send
other
us a link.
thing is, where are we at with that TBA contract? We
I don't
haven't
think
made any
anything's
progress.
happened.
on
No,
that.
that hasn't made any
I believe
contract
the
anymore.
mayor
That's
had-
still between mayor
The
and.
mayor had a meeting. I don't know if they discussed that. Never mind.
The old Duke facility, y'all coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still on the works, but it's not been done, Steve.
Not going back to our, not an apocalypse, but the big earthquake, if it ever hits. How, where are structures? I would want to ask, how strong are they? What can they withstand?
Yeah.
You know, are they going to be still standing after a 7.7? Or are they only rated up to a 5.0 or something like that? You know,
You know, I know, good questions.
I don't know. I don't know either. I know they all have to be, all structures in this area have to be.
Yeah.
A certain-
Their water line. you got.
Water lines are not gonna make it, are they? Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of where I'd like for us to kind of get our thinking going and our heading in that direction so that we can start planning ahead a little bit. And along with that is we've got to start working on the budget. So Bobby, she's gonna print us out some reports. You and I'll go through them, look at them, talk about what you need internally, and we can talk about any kind of project we need or what we gotta do. We'll see what we get together. And then we'll get with Glendon. That's where we shake that out every year, which has to be. I put a date in my phone. I think it was our,
Yes, sir.
it was our,
I'll get all that printed for y'all.
We gotta, yeah, they've got to present that to the council. When's the council looking at budget, you know?
I think
We're
it,
kind of looking at a
May.
few different.
May 20th was it,
Maybe
wasn't it?
something.
Because
May 20 sounds right.
When is the 22nd or something?
it was May 15th because it was our order board meeting. That's what it was.
Yeah, there was 2 dates.
Yeah.
No, Bruce.
Right,
Was
they said May
resource
15th
for
or I
us,
think
too.
May 22nd.
And
I
we're
don't
thinking
know.
of seeing
Something
this
like
stuff through.
I don't know his
He's,
background.
well, he's kind of the code enforcement guy, I think, but he's got a real good background. He's been mayor and, I mean, a bunch of things. And so it could be a resource.
Yeah,
for us.
he's the one did all the policies.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like,
Well-
Bruce, I have a project.
You know,
And he loves them. He'll go right at
He
it.
loves
Yeah.
digging
Yeah.
and projects.
well, that's.
He amazes me.
I said, and I want them all scanned in and
I mean, I just thought about the reality. I mean, I've been through that hoop 2 or 3 times and it's not an easy process, but it's worth the effort. But some of these things, when you're dealing with a federally funded agent and that money's coming from the feds, it's gonna be a political, in other words, you got a pot of money, you got a big area it's going to, and everybody in that area wants something. So it takes just a little bit of nudging sometimes to put you a little further up the plate. And the fact that that's sitting in a flood zone would be something I would really press the need for this. I can hear the other people in the area say, well, Calvert's got the money. Yes, we always face that. So you gotta sell somebody on it. And get it done. And if they don't do it through that, there's such a thing as a congressionally appropriated grant. So there's more than one way to skin that cat. I'm not going that way.
Next item on the agenda is, Bobby, getting everybody trained up, all your new hires and everything. Is that
Yeah, we're making progress.
making progress.
Everybody's starting to fall in and know what they're doing.
Hmm.
I mean, granted, they don't know everything yet. but
No,
I don't know everything.
What
We're-
about,
I'm feeling pretty confident.
you're doing class work, or any of them need to, or do you need to encourage any of them to get certified, or
No, they're all wanting to get certified.
good?
They're already.
I mean, they're gonna get a
people
pay
can't
raise,
go
right?
yet. They're already looking at material. you know.
Good.
So everybody's pretty excited.
Good.
They want to get licensed up.
I
Got
would,
good
if
equipment
I was in
guy.
their position.
Got good equipment guy.
Yeah, he's working out.
all right.
Okay.
Anything?
Whatever.
Steve, you already had your question
I
answered.
have, I
so,
have, I don't have a thing.
Let me ask mine again. This is the one that was early. What if we have deflation? You know, the thing we're using to raise rates. And let's say we have deflation of -2%. Does our water rates, are they affected accordingly?
I don't know what that policy says or the ordinance says.
Okay.
But we'll rewrite it if it says.
Yeah.
No, I'm not kidding.
We'll be talking to Ashley.
I don't know what it says.
We'll give them a discount if they pay
It
the
may
bill
just,
early or something.
it may just stay flat, Bill. I don't.
I don't
I
remember.
would think,
We don't see it much. You know, it hadn't happened much.
Yeah.
The way people run our
not since
economy.
I've been here.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Most of our stuff we use and orders are made in the United States.
No, not a lot. I mean, because a lot of our good, like, let's say clamps and fittings and stuff are either from like Israel or, Germany, stuff like that.
So,
But we
Thank
do
you, Terrence.
have a majority of Americans. We do have a lot of them.
It's a short-term issue, but
yeah, I agree.
Any other,
That's all I have. Thank you.
any other discussion? All right, have a motion to adjourn.
leader out.
All right. I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Second.
Okay. Motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, but like sign.
Let's go see how the NCAA basketball
no.
tournament's going. Right?
Thank you, Case, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow afternoon,
I
6.
saw, I don't want to ruin it
Did
for anybody.
Alabama beat Auburn? Or did Auburn?
I didn't see that. I did see the
I thought it
Louisville.
did.
Auburn and Alabama were playing today.
Yeah,
No,
Alabama.
yeah, Auburn